Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Blueprint Roundtable. Today, I'm going to be your host, and Chuck and Matt are going to be weighing in on a really interesting question, actually, and something that we've been asked to do a few times over at Blueprint. But, going into, separate from just good topics of like how to hire or run a search, today's topic and question is how do you run an effective search in stealth mode, where you don't want people at your organization to know that you're actually running this search. So I will start with you, Chuck.
Yeah, such a great question. This is definitely a topic for probably some follow-up, but I'll answer it. The first and most important thing to say is, before you run any form of stealth search, it is imperative to clarify like what precisely are your objectives and why is there the need to do this? Is this a general sort of interest in bench building, anticipating, churn, whether voluntary or involuntary, based on expectations in the market? Is this based on having a specific individual who is on or expected to go on a performance plan? But I think first thing that's really important is clarifying why this needs to happen, right? I think minimizing the need to do it as well is another factor, right? So if it is a matter of a specific individual, like does this need to be done in stealth, right? Or if you've managed things in a transparent, open way, perhaps you can run this search, in a more open way because all parties are aware of circumstances, right? So clarifying your objectives, minimizing where possible the need to do it. Consulting with your legal team, I think, is also important. It goes without saying that nothing should be done, right, that's ever, in violation with federal or state employment laws. So making sure that you're being fair, you're being consistent, you're fully in accordance with the law and how you run any form of search. All of those things matter. And so then once you've got those kind of foundations, right, then I think it's really about, making sure that you've got trusted partners involved. So if you're working with a recruiting team, that you've really conveyed the specifics, you've mitigated the chance for, things to spiral, and that the parties who are involved in that search are staying as respectful about circumstances as you need them to. I mean, I think there are other dimensions of this depending on specifics, or how you make sure that people who maybe report to an individual who may be impacted are not aware of those circumstances. I mean, you want to err on the side of being respectful to everyone. The parties that you're seeking to bring in your organization, the party who may be getting managed out of the organization, and the folks in between. And beyond that, I think it's really case by case. But I think it's a great topic. I think we should do some follow up, Krissy, on this as well, because we have seen interest in doing this, and I think in this business environment in particular, with growing expectations that butts and seats are executing at a really high level. I mean, there is a lot of interest in ensuring that teams are performing at the highest levels and being upgrade ready. And so, while I understand the need for businesses to do that, I think just doing it in a respectful, clear way is always vital. Matt, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm thinking more tactical from the recruiter's side, whether you're in-house or it's easier if you're external because your email address doesn't have the name of the company. I think we've got some clients that ask us not to use their name when reaching out for some stealth searches. Yeah, as long as you're aware that your response rates are going to be, or your engagement rates are going to be lower, because nobody wants to take a call with a company they can't even go look up on their own. And the whole feeling of like, you have to take a call with me to know the company name or to get the compensation, like those tactics are dying. And if they're not dead yet, the companies that are using them will die. So like, as long as the hiring manager and the team are aware that, hey, if whether internal or external, we're not allowed to list the name of the company or the actual position of the role or the territory. If you're backfilling a geo-specific individual, like response rates are going to be lower. There's only so much we can do, right? Because even if somebody wants to take a call with the Series D that's hiring for mid-market AE at this comp level, and here's some of the must-haves that they have from a candidate profile standpoint, the first question they're going to ask, or they should ask on that call, is, please tell me the name of the client, and then the cat's out of the bag. So if you're using a third-party recruiter, right, it's really, just making sure that you're on the same page with them. There's only so much they can do to make it a stealth search, and typically, response rates are going to be a little bit lower because of that. But outside of that, everything Chuck echoed is spot on. There's a lot of variables that go into this, from a core reason to handling both internally and externally, that warrants, I think, a deeper conversation where maybe we take some of the top three and sort of break it down.
Yep. Those are really good points. And I mean, those important considerations, right? I think you're right. Sorry, because I was going to say, I hadn't thought about, I mean, times have changed, right? And, I really do appreciate and take pride in the way that we are always so open and transparent. So at a certain level, while we have a lot of experience with this and comfort here, it is a little more challenging in today's market, maybe versus 5 years ago, to run these kind of searches because, our value is not tied to like serving up that name, right? And so once you start to be cryptic at any level, even when there are very valid reasons, it can be a little more challenging, right?
Yeah, sure. And look, your process always matters, but it sure as hell matters in this situation. Like everyone needs to be buttoned up. The worst thing you can do is not be buttoned up, or you aren't sure if you actually are. Like, some people will want to do stealth search but then they kind of slow down, and like that's a bad candidate experience. Like this is where candidate experience matters, because you have to be transparent. We're replacing somebody that's still there, and so they want to see how you treat them. And their like red alert is like all up, even if they're interested in the company. So I think those two things are like really critical to be locked down and get right, so you can create a great experience, but also just make sure that everything is as aligned as possible. But great conversation, great topic. We definitely should follow up on this. Great advice, but that's all the time we have for today. So until next time, we'll see y'all later.
See you guys.
Bye.